Presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus, kick off our holidays by supporting the Make-A-Wish Jingle Rock Virtual Run. Visit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Guam and CNMI Facebook page for details. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Now on Prime Time, the Senate has returned Judge Senzan's nomination to federal court. Plus, after a slow day yesterday, a steady flow of residents took advantage of community testing at the Guam Community College. And during a special meeting this morning, new officers were selected for the Mayor's Council of Guam. Peter Santos has that story.
Hafa day and good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. The U.S. Senate has returned President Trump's nomination of Guam Superior Court Judge Maria Senzan to the District Court of Guam. According to Senate rules, her nomination can no longer be considered unless the new president selects her again. Nestor Lecanto has more.
Judge Senzan was nominated by President Trump on November 30th of last year, but according to the Senate Judiciary Committee website, her nomination was returned on January 3rd under the provisions of Senate Rule 31. It states that, quote, nominations neither confirmed nor rejected during the session at which they are made shall not be acted upon at any succeeding session without being again made to the Senate by the President. That means Judge Senzan would have to be nominated again by the next president, Joe Biden. Reacting today on KUAM's The Link, Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio was non-committal on whether their administration would recommend Senzan to the Biden administration or opt to keep current Chief Judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood, whose 10-year appointment expired several years ago.
You know what? I tell you that the governor and judge have had some conversations. The governor's spoken to many folks. And so I'll just say this, I'd leave that for the governor to herself to talk about, but I would tell you that the governor had previously already endorsed reappointment of Chief Judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood since last year. It's really just a matter of the political process, and right now the political process is not being controlled by anybody in Guam. It's really in as part of a national scheme here, where, you know, fortunately Judge Senzan, who has cleared the FBI, has been vetted, has been shown to be a good, excellent candidate, is, you know, up there. But you know, so it's going to be, who knows? I would say that it's a stressful situation, I'm sure, for both judges.
The lieutenant governor also points out that while federal judges in the territory serve 10-year terms, their counterparts in the 50 states are appointed for life. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
It's not yet official, but Governor Julian Guerrero may be attending the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. The governor is still considering whether to travel to Washington, D.C. for the ceremony scheduled for January 20th. According to the inaugural website, Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will be sworn in at the U.S. Capitol building. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio says they've been in discussions with incoming White House Governmental Affairs Director Julia Rodriguez.
We're really talking about that right now, given the situation and the safety concerns we have, but I think we have to balance that with the need to make sure that we maintain and expand the interaction that we have with the federal government, and indications are pretty good.
The Biden inaugural website says the ceremony will feature vigorous health and safety protocols to protect public health, including face coverings, social distancing, and more. It says the swearing-in ceremony will also be live-streamed and broadcast for the country and world to watch. The fallout continues 2 days after the president asked Georgia's top election official to find him more votes. There are now calls for both federal and state investigations. The incident is causing a rift in the Republican Party that is already at odds over plans to challenge the counting of Electoral College votes in Congress this week. Natalie Brand is at the White House with more.
House Democrats are urging the FBI to open a criminal investigation into President Trump's stunning one-hour phone call with Georgia's Secretary of State.
I just want to find 11,780 votes which is one more that we have.
Mr. President!
A source familiar with the matter tells CBS News the Saturday call was the first time the two parties spoke since Election Day, despite 18 prior attempted calls from the White House.
I didn't feel intimidated. I can stand on my own 2 feet. There's no 12,000 votes out there.
On Fox News Channel, members of the president's party gave mixed reaction.
I didn't hear anything in that tape that the president hasn't already said for weeks now.
This call was not a helpful call.
Congressional Republicans are also split over plans by dozens of GOP lawmakers to object to Wednesday's counting of Electoral College votes.
Ohio Senator Rob Portman is one of the latest Republicans to come out against the plan, saying in a statement, "I cannot support allowing Congress to thwart the will of the voters." The objections are expected to temporarily delay but not overturn certification of the results.
Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States of America, notwithstanding the delusional fantasies of some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle.
President Trump lashed out at Republicans who have refused to challenge the results on Twitter, calling them the, quote, surrender caucus. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Fresh off their inauguration, village mayors held a special meeting today to elect their officers for the Mayor's Council of Guam. Peter Santos has the story.
Elected by his peers, PD Mayor Jesse Allig will be the president of the 17th Mayor's Council of Guam, and he says it's time to set aside politics and focus on the people.
And not only is it about our people, but it's actually getting the work done. There's so much talk, so much excuses, and nothing really done. So I'm looking forward to getting the job done. And I'm talking about feral animals, we're talking about abandoned vehicles, we're talking about the same things everyone has been complaining about since day one.
According to Sinahanya Mayor Robert Hoffman, who was elected vice president, he says it's also about focusing on lifting up the community.
We understand, COVID really took a toll on a lot of the economy and a lot of people's jobs, and we've seen the food lines as we do our distributions. We've seen requests for assistance, so that's something we want to work with the administration on. That's something we want to work with our federal partners with, just to really address it, make sure that they don't forget about Guam.
Elected as MCOG secretary is Tumuning Mayor Luis Rivera. Agate Mayor Kevin Soswico was elected as treasurer, and 24 hours after announcing his retirement as executive director.
If it is their decision that they would want to reappoint me back as executive director, I would gladly accept it.
Angel Sablan was rehired to the position. The MCOG's first official meeting is scheduled for Wednesday.
The first thing I think is really to get our council back together again. We talk about unity, we talk about working together, but I think one of the things that's difficult is that we all have different ideas, and it's probably going to be the best thing to do to work together, even though we have different ideas, but working together to achieve the goals.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Carla Branch is back as executive director for the 36th Guam legislature. In a release, Committee on Rules Chairwoman Tina Rose Munya Barnes announced the appointment of the legislative management team. As you may recall, Branch formerly served as executive director of the 35th Guam legislature. Most recently, he served as the policy director for the governor. Agnes Cruz will continue to serve as the chief financial officer. It will be her 6th term as the legislature's CFO. Joe R. San Augustine will be serving as the protocol officer and facilities manager. San Augustine has been instrumental in the opening of the historic Guam Congress building. The Vaccine and Antiviral Prioritization Policy Committee held yet another meeting yesterday. DPHSS Public Information Officer Janela Carrero confirmed the arrival of the Moderna COVID vaccine. On top of receiving the Moderna vaccine, Public Health also got the green light to place their January vaccine order. Carrera says Public Health will be placing an order of 7,800 doses of the Pfizer vaccine and 7,200 for the Moderna vaccine. The total of 15,000 doses in January's allocation will be enough to fully immunize 7,500 individuals. The VAPPC also lowered the age bracket for the Phase 1C category, bringing it from 65 and older to 60 and older. Carrera added that public health nurses and staff have started their training for administering the Moderna vaccine this week. Day 2 of community mass testing was a success, according to DPHSS PIO Janela Carrera. Yesterday's testing was a little slow, testing a total of only 134 individuals.
Today, we have a pretty steady flow. This morning, we had a line of cars waiting before we even opened our testing doors, so to speak. So a lot more cars today, a lot more people showing up to get tested. We're really happy with the turnout we're seeing today.
Even with 2020 in the rear view, Carrera says it's important to continue mass testing.
Our numbers are going down. Our CARB score is below that number one threshold. That the vaccines are here and it's an extra layer of protection. That doesn't mean that we should let our guard down. And that's exactly why we're continuing to have community outreach and community testing, because just as the vaccination is important, community testing is equally important, if not just maybe even more important.
As for vaccinations, they will resume this week, Thursday, January 7th to Saturday, January 9th at Ukadu High School's cafeteria and gym. From 9 a.m. to noon, Public Health will administer the second dose of the vaccine to healthcare workers who received their first dose between December 17th and 19th. Then from noon to 3 p.m., individuals 60 years and older can receive their first dose of vaccine. A significant portion of the island's eastern shoreline has been under invasion by the Portuguese man-o-war. As Tyler Matanani reports, a longtime business owner in Ipan says he hasn't seen it this bad in years.
We went down to Talafofo to Jeff's Pirates Cove to see the Indo-Pacific Man-o-Wars, a shocking sight as captivating little blue bubbles draped along the beach shore.
I mean, they look pretty, they're a nice blue color.
But they're dangerous and painful, and Jeff Pleadwell should know. He's been stung by Portuguese man-o-war almost a dozen times.
I've been stung going out to help people in the water. I've been stung walking on the beach. I've been stung surfing. I've been stung fishing. They're hard to see.
Pleadwell, who owns Jeff's Pirates Cove on the island's east side, says with the winds and waves picking up, the man-o-wars have gone airborne.
They're really a hazard. And if they keep washing up with the high waves, they end up on the shore in the grass, and they can actually blow onto people or come up pretty close further to the building. And I don't want the kids to touch them. I want people to be aware that these little bubbles, even if they're clear, even if they die, they can sting you up to 10 years. And it hurts, and you will scratch a hole through your skin. So they're not a good thing.
Although the National Weather Service has issued a wind advisory for the Marianas through 7 o'clock tonight and issued an advisory about the man-o-wars, Pleadwell says over the last couple of weeks, he's been warning customers to stay away from the shoreline and be mindful of the flying terrors.
They fly in here across the top of the ocean, floating, and always, every year they come, but this year is exceptionally bad.
In fact, the issue is so bad, warning signs can be seen advising all that pass through to not engage in water activities.
If you see them, just stay away from them, keep your children away from them, and be aware they can hurt real bad if they sting you. Some people have to go to the hospital. Some people, they're turned blue. One guy we rescued, he had passed out from having them in his face, a kiteboarder. So they're dangerous, really dangerous.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
And before we head into break, the Joint Information Center reports this evening that 13 new cases of COVID-19 were identified out of 808 test samples. 2 cases were identified through contact tracing. 1 case reported recent travel and was identified in quarantine. To date, there have been a total of 7,357 officially reported cases of COVID-19, with 123 deaths and 102 cases in active isolation. The current CAR score is 0.9. And stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Well, we've all been through a lot over the years.
Typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19.
We've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years.
Travelers Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. there's action behind it. And so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
Enjoy honey sesame chicken breast at Panda Express. Be the sweetness. Be the freshness. Be the crispy tender sesame seed perfection. That's how you find your sweet spot. Have it delivered from Panda Express today.
Agania Shopping Center.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. Republican senators continue to push hard for their tax relief bills. Minority Leader Jim Moylan and Minority Whip Frank Bloss appeared on the Link Show calling for public hearings soon for a trio of bills they say will help boost the economy. Moylan says they need to get the ball rolling.
Started the discussion, and that's the first thing we want to do. Are they perfect? Probably not, but I think we'll gain a lot of ground by having a public hearing and having our colleagues ask some questions. What we did is we introduced this. And if there are other bills to be introduced, well, I'll be happy to look at it too. I haven't seen that these comparables yet, but let's have a discussion on the table. And if there's a better plan, I'm more than open to hear it.
The bills seek to roll back the business privilege tax, expand exemptions, and suspend the tax increase on $1 million or more properties. In Superior Court news, jury selection officially begins on January 8th for murder defendant Joshua Palacios' trial. Palacios is accused for the fatal shooting of Keith Castro. The incident occurred last July at a home in Jigo. Before Castro was shot, he was allegedly beaten with a metal baton by Thomas Taitano. Taitano has since entered a plea agreement and cooperation deal with the government. He is expected to testify in Palacios' trial. Cynthia Leon Guerrero Paulino was sentenced to 70 months or nearly 6 years in federal prison for selling and using ice. Here's more from District Court. On November 1st, 2018, investigators with the Guam Police Department Mandana Drug Task Force, working with Drug Enforcement Administration agents, executed a search and seizure warrant at Cynthia Leon Guerrero Paulino's residence in Agana Heights. According to court documents, Paulino was home when the feds raided her house. She allegedly told investigators she wanted to cooperate and took responsibility for all the drugs found inside the residence. Investigators found a total of 105 net grams of meth in Paulino's bedroom and approximately 4.04 grams of cocaine in a pill bottle inside her bedroom nightstand. Additionally, $15,100 were found in a safe inside her closet. Further in court documents, she told authorities she had a bank safety deposit boxes, one for her daughter and the other for her daughter's boyfriend. The boxes were searched and contained a syringe with suspected meth residue, a Cartier wristwatch, 2 vehicle titles, and over $500,000. Paulino told investigators she started selling meth in late 2017 and used her drug proceeds to pay her rent, bills, and vehicle expenses. Today she appeared for her sentencing hearing in Chief Judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood's courtroom. It was stated in court Paulino signed a plea agreement prior to being indicted. The government noted her substantial assistance and cooperation that led to arrest in more cases. However, it was noted that she has a criminal history. She was arrested on drug charges back in 2014 and was sentenced to 3 years in prison, although she admitted to selling drugs since 2011. The U.S. Office of Probation and Assistant U.S. Attorney Laura Sambataro recommended a sentencing term in the middle of the guideline range at 80 months. Defense counsel Jeffrey Moots asked for 70 months, the lowest range of the guidelines, arguing his client has fully acknowledged her operations, is remorseful, and went into cooperation with the government. The court asked Polino, quote, "How could someone like you, a daughter of Guam, get so involved in drugs?" She responded with stating, "Bad choices," and further said she has been clean for 2 years and made a decision to change her life and is dedicated to staying clean. The court agreed with the defense and sentenced Polino to 70 months or nearly 6 years behind bars and a 4-year supervised release term. Convicted federal drug defendant Julian Gerald Borja Ramos is asking the court for compassionate release from incarceration. Assistant Federal Public Defender Brianna Kotke filed an emergency motion with sealed medical documents attached, asking the court to release Ramos due to health concerns of being reinfected with COVID. He is currently serving 20 years at the Santa Barbara County Prison in California for mailing in pounds of meth worth $1.5 million. Kotke argues her client has stage 2 chronic kidney disease, stage 2 liver failure, and suffers from mental illnesses. Further stating Ramos has been infected with COVID-19 and has lingering side effects that make him more prone to reinfection. On behalf of the government, Assistant U.S. Attorney Stephen Leon Guerrero opposed the release. Ramos addressed the court stating, quote, "I did a lot of bad stuff. I was a slave to the drug and was addicted. Everything I did was not for profit. It was for my addiction. I don't hide my struggles, and I thank you, Your Honor, for opening the door for me," unquote. He then apologized to Chief Judge Francis Tadinko Gatewood and begged for compassion. The court is taking the matter under advisement and plans to issue a decision later this week. Coming up, a look at sports with Dave Delgado. Keep it here.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
COVID has made this a very challenging time for everyone. You are not alone. We are here for you in all walks of life. We are Mangai Ham, a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
It takes all of us to protect Guam. Join the Guam Visitors Bureau in our social media campaign series aimed to protect our island and each other in this COVID-19 era. Participate in the Protect Guam movement by wearing your mask, showcasing Guam's heroes, staying active, and downloading the Guam COVID Alert app. Post and share your content with us, use the hashtag ProtectGuam, and you could win $100. It's that simple. Check out visitguam.com for details. Let's reclaim our lives, our economy, and our tourism industry.
Guam, welcome to In the Zone. Dave Delgado here with St. John's senior Andrew McCormick, who has goals of becoming a referee at the highest level. What drew you into the sport of soccer?
As a child, my dad, we always watched sports together. And when I was living in Navy, the MWR, soccer was a big thing. A lot of kids played in, so I also joined in. And I just sort of picked up the sport sort of right away. I've just been playing it since then. Moving to Wolverines, having Coach Joe really helped me love the game on and off the field. It's something I enjoy. Also off the field, watching soccer outside of Guam, in Europe.
And how has refereeing helped you on and off the pitch as far as being a student athlete, and just daily life in general?
It's really helped with my preparation. Because being a referee, you have to be prepared before the game. Just like in school, you have to be prepared. And then the teamwork wise, you have to be able to work with fellow referees, players, as well as the coaches. and you have to build a relationship. So you have to do that as long with your classmates, with your teachers. You have to like sort of build respect. So people they'll trust your judgment, and so other referees will trust you when you make that call. And they won't. And you also won't second guess yourself because they'll trust in your judgment.
And what are some of the things you're looking at when you're out there on the pitch officiating a game?
The intensity, how are both teams going at it? If it's a high pitch, high paced game, you're going to have to be more alert. And for the little things like a tripping or the offsides, they could be a little more offsides if they're going faster. So you have to be very alert to those small details that are happening out there.
And it's one of those things too, where not only are you having to make sure the fans are being settled down, it's also the players too, because a game can easily get out of hand if you don't keep the players in check.
Yes, that happens a lot, especially with players. Especially in one of those high-paced games, those players, their tempers can sort of flare. And as a referee, you have to learn how to be calm and composed in those type of high-intensity situations. And that helps from being a referee to a player as well. You sort of have that calm.
Starting officiating games at the end of your sophomore year, what was that experience like? And when did you realize that this could be something you wanted to pursue?
At the start, it was sort of something to do on Saturdays. But, as soon as when you go up the ranks and you build friendships and stuff, you enjoy it more. And I think that's something that really happened. I really started enjoying it and really buying into the refereeing and just being there all day Saturday and loving what I'm doing out there.
You wrote about officiating for your college entrance essay, where you will be attending Springfield College in Springfield, Massachusetts.
They've been very supportive. They've been sending a lot of emails to things that they're hosting for new students and even students that attend college right now. So they've been very interactive with me, and they show a lot of care for their students and even for their incoming students. They've been very supportive of trying to get me ready for the college that I'm going to be going to.
Anything in particular when you chose your college?
It's not a big college, I wouldn't say. It's sort of like the school I'm going to now. It's not as big, and they have a very big importance on athletics as well as academics. So it's they're very big into both of those things.
Taking courses over at the GFA definitely going to help you in what you plan on doing, but it's also the networking side of things that you've draw interest to and looking forward to gain more experience in that field as well.
Yes, especially knowing a lot of sort of the higher members in the GFA system. It's very helpful because they'll talk to me about what they do, and then so I can sort of learn from the top people, and I can use those experiences in what I'm going to be doing in hopefully sports management at Springfield.
And I heard you're a big Mattel fan.
Yes. Yeah. I've lived here a long time, and they're sort of like the soccer club here. So, yeah, I've watched a lot of their games.
Were you ever a ball boy in any of the games?
Yes. I believe so when I was younger.
Talk about maybe some of the other goals you have as far as maybe school or just when it comes to soccer and being official.
Well, for school, I hope I go into Springfield, using that education to hopefully in sports management, but also as a referee in the United States, hopefully to go up through the ranks in the United States, possibly go into the MLS maybe, and then maybe on even to becoming a FIFA referee, using those experiences from Guam and also from Springfield.
We rely on each other to be there in the good and bad times.
Parents rely on me for making sure that their kids are always in the best of their health.
The community relies on me when emergencies strike.
My students rely on me to move them higher in what they're learning.
Our kids rely on us to provide them with all the support they need.
for keeping us in touch every day,
for every call and schedule I receive, and for every emergency I respond to.
And with my need to respond in the timeliest manner,
to keep my knowledge updated.
For keeping us connected every day, we only rely on Docomo Pacific.
So long, nacho fries.
Whenever Taco Bell takes them off the menu, he can't escape the cravings. Nacho fries.
Escape your cravings with our nacho fries box. Run to Taco Bell.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
And before we close out the news tonight, your latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
January 5th is a great day to have a birthday, and we've got some fantastic birthday shoutouts tonight, everybody. Up first is Gabriel Donato, whose birthday shoutout goes like this. 10 years ago, the doctor said you're not going to live for more than a year, but God is faithful. He has a plan. We praise God for your life. Happy 10th birthday to Gabby, and your family says they love you. Tanya Mendiola also has a birthday today, so happy birthday to you, Tanya, from all of your friends here at KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery. And a single belated birthday recipient, because born on January the 4th, Gavin Vincent Kitigua. Happy birthday number 17 to my son from his family, Mom, Papa, and his brothers and sisters. We love you, boy, they say. So Gavin, happy 17th, happy birthday to you, Tanya and Gabriel, and may each of you have a wonderful, blessed day.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and be safe.
Health Check is presented by Island Cancer Center.